Hi, Josh here for IGN, and today we're talking about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny. There may be some light spoilers coming down the road about the original Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but I promise you, no spoilers on Sword of Destiny here. That first movie, it came out more than 15 years ago. It was directed by Ang Lee. It won 4 Academy Awards. It was nominated for 6 more Academy Awards. It found a great reception among critics and general audiences. Right? Of course it did. We're not going to be here today talking about the original Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and the sequel if the first movie hadn't done well. It just wouldn't happen. Of course, 15 years from now, I don't think people are going to be talking about Sword of Destiny as anything other than a cautionary tale, as anything other than something you don't want to go out and do. And the problem isn't that Sword of Destiny is bad. I don't think it's good, but the problem isn't that it's bad. The problem is that it's not as good as the original. And I hate saying that because I hate being one of those people who goes off and says, oh, the sequel is just not as good as the first movie. But here, no matter what the sequel has going for it, and it does have Michelle Yeoh coming back and she is good, and Donnie Yen is good in this movie, and Jason Scott Lee's bad guy is fun in this movie. But every time Sword of Destiny references the original Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, it comes up one thing, and it references the original film over and over and over again. There are fights that are reminiscent of that first film. You're going to see people flying up to rooftops like they did in that first film. There's love story elements here that reference that first film, but they're never carried off quite as well here as they were in that first film. One of the things I love about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is that even when it was doing something impossible, even when there was this ridiculous fantasy element to it, it all felt real. It felt like they were actually doing it, even if you knew they couldn't. I'm thinking about that bamboo forest fight from the first movie. Here, whether it's flying up to the roofs, or fighting on a frozen lake, or the big battle sequence at the end of the movie, it all feels fake. It all looks CG. It all looks terribly unreal, and that's just not great. Beyond that, I really am not enthused by the love story here. They bring in Donnie Yen's character, which is fine, but to give him a weighty history with Michelle Yeoh's character, they have to retcon some of her history from the first movie. And that's just, it feels silly. It feels wrong. It feels like they're almost cheapening the memory of that first movie by changing up some of her history here. Some of the other love story elements feel, as I said, like they're particularly there so that the movie can reference the first film, and just over and over again you're going to see it and you're going to wonder why they went out and bought it. If this had been just a completely separate movie, if this hadn't referenced the first film, if it hadn't been called Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, if it had done any of these things differently, gone off in any different direction, I think that everybody would find that it's sort of a middling, absolutely acceptable but not special martial arts fantasy action movie. But referencing that first movie over and over again, going back to that well over and over again, it just makes this movie feel less good than it otherwise would. There are other problems as well. If you watch it on Netflix, you're going to notice that there's, if you have the English subtitles on, there are phrases in those English subtitles that nobody says if you're watching the English dialogue, and it does appear to have been recorded in English initially. If you turn on the Chinese dialogue, there is some of what appears to be that phrasing included. There's certainly extra voiceover, which seems like it might match up with those English subtitles, but it's not there in the English dialogue. And it's another disappointment about the movie. So, not horrible, absolutely mediocre, shouldn't have referenced that first movie, should have been its own thing. That would have just been so much better.